Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For all my dear debutants, hi, my name is Srushti Shah. Thank you so much for dropping in, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. A video after a really long time, but I promise this is going to be very informational and a good one. Actually, it's a comeback and I promise to be active. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. This is something which I have done on my channel for the very first time. Hope you like it. And it is a podcast with one of my friends. Just straight away, let's welcome him and let's not waste some time. Welcome, Paurush, on my channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us something about yourself.
I'm from Lucknow, in UP, and I came here to do my master's in journalism in Westminster University 2 years back. And I do stand-ups from time to time here, and I love politics. Yes.
So this video is all about humor and politics.
I hope so, yeah. Then on to the questions you asked me.
I would put you in a troublesome situation, right? But I hope I do at least at one point.
If you want spice for your let's go.
Let's do that. Okay, so we have got a couple of questions, which we would be answering. Actually, he would be answering majorly, and his perspective and everything he would be putting forward on that. What motivated you to study abroad, and how is it going?
So it's a very funny story. I had no, idea or any sorts of thoughts that I would come to any country abroad and I'll study here. It's funny because during the COVID time when I was doing my undergrad, actually my sister was finding a job in Canada looking for PR. And then one day randomly my father said, "Kuch kar le. See if you want."
Every Indian parent.
Yeah, just like that. Go outside, do something with your life. I was like, even okay, let's try it. And I started looking for Canada, and almost I finalized Canada. I started applying there. But then one of my friend who was studying in UK, she changed her mind. She said, "It's costing the same. It's better life here, and you want to go in journalism," and which makes sense because Canada is a bit more irrelevant for me in terms of journalism and politics as compared to UK, because it's much more similar, given the history and given all the parliamentary procedures and systems. And I was like, okay, but I had this notion in my mind that UK is really, really tough to get in because you can, London is everything.
Yeah.
Sort of yes, sort of no. It's not that hard, but it's not that easy as well. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll start. So once I started applying, I applied 5 universities, and luckily I got into one. And then closer it came, I was like, okay, it's getting real, and I am going abroad. So yeah, I mean, initially I had no plans, but here I am now.
So that's how you started.
That's how I started. It's no plans at all. I think the best things happens when they're not planned.
They're spontaneous.
Yes. Yeah, that is my story.
It's very motivational. Not so motivational, but like
I think more careless because I had no plans. But I always wanted to go to abroad, but then I knew I've just done undergrad. I wanted a good job in India. I need a master's, and you know how competitive masters is, and, because there are very few good universities in India.
Yeah,
and it's very competitive. That's like,
let's just try another way.
Somewhere where I have more options and more chances to go.
I'm sure you're happy with your choice. Hopefully.
Well, I have my good days and bad days, but in choices of like coming to Westminster.
Yeah, I mean, what were some, like, you've come here, you've had your fair share of like studies and everything, but I mean, that's a good part, we'll come on that. Yeah. But what were the like biggest differences that you faced while studying here? And
right, I think one of the biggest challenge for me to come to UK was the financial thingy. I came to UK with just £80 in my pocket, which was just enough for me to pay my rent for the next week. But yeah, so my rent is very cheap in London compared to everyone else. But yeah, so my support was that my parents couldn't afford that much of money. Yeah. I came here with £80, and if my goal was if I don't get a job in next 1 or 2 weeks, I'll go back to India because I can't support my rent. And London is all about money and everything. So everyone is a bit more professional compared to India. So I had to find a job. Luckily, I did get a job, so I started working in Sam's Chicken. That was my first share. Then I went to Pizza Hut, and then I went in my own industry. But I had a fair share of, cultural problems as well because as compared to India, we are a bit more relaxed and laid back. Okay, fine, that's it's okay. 2 minutes late, so what happens? But here in UK, even if you're 30 seconds late, it counts a big deal, and you lose your impression as an employee or as a good student or as a normal human being. That means that you're disrespecting the person's time who is waiting for you. And that was the biggest thing that I've learned here, that people are a bit more professional compared to back in India. Cultural-wise, I think I didn't have a very bad experience because I think UK people, the British people, are quite patient and they're very polite, and they'll try to help you if you ask for it. But I mean, with that, it also comes with here and there microaggressions here and there. But I think that's fair enough, because you're coming to another country, you look different, you speak different, you have different values, different cultural values, and different upbringing. And I think it's same in India. And if you go to different parts of India, you also face, certain sense of microaggressions. I think as prepared for that, the biggest thing, whoever is coming to UK, is be mentally prepared that you will face these challenges. And how are you going to deal with that? Because back in India, I have my parents to support me. I can go and with that, that ki haan, Papa and Mummy.
But we have like somebody to come home.
Exactly. And but you're on your own. You have to, start things from scratch. I think this is the major problem. Language, I didn't have a problem because luckily I have a good grip on English language. So I think that was a good part. I am trying to learn a bit of accent though, but because you have to adapt to UK. If you speak like them, and if they see that you're trying to learn their ways, I think it's much more beneficial for you as a human being, and they see you find that you are trying to be, because you're coming to their country.
You're trying to be a part of them, and you're trying to like gel up.
And honestly, I like British accent. I mean, who doesn't? And I like their culture. It's very simple. It's very polite, and I don't think it's very hard also to adapt to their culture. It's just that you need to if you want to. That's the basic thing. So yeah.
One thing I would really like to add on this is that people in India have quite like a preconceived notion, and they judge you very easily. That you are bound to do certain things and you cannot go out of that boundary. But I think people here have no boundaries, and I mean, there is some sort of judgment, but like people don't really care about what's happening here.
I think that's the reason I think UK is one of the first world countries. I mean, when you come, you get a different exposure in life. And London is very easy to give, to give values and opinions and time to all these little things. And it's much more advanced society compared to any other. And I mean, I would learn a lot of things, but when I came to Westminster, it's one of the most diverse university in UK, and I've met people from all walks of life. I had my first black friend, first white friend, first Spanish, Italian friend, and I learned a lot of things from them, and they learned a lot of things from me and my culture, and the love of food, of course. So I think that's a good thing. And for example, I'll be really honest, I didn't have much exposure learning about LGBTQ society. And here I made friends with them. I joined the society. I attended their events, and I think they're nice. They're very nice, and I think everyone should have been educated about that. So I think these are the perks of coming abroad, and letting go of what you have learned and your preconceived notions, and learn new things. But with that, also do not forget your culture as well. So I haven't forget my culture, and I think everybody loves Indian culture, their food and everything. And I've seen people who have come from different countries. They have their own culture, but also they try to learn, or at least have something about the different cultures. Try their food, try their culture, their festivals.
Global exchange of like cultures. And
I think that's the best part, and that's how you grow, and that's how you grow your personality.
You mentioned something about societies and unions, and unions and everything. And let me just mention that you have been a vice president of a student union for postgraduation.
I still am.
Sorry.
No, but
you have served for the longest time. I have known you. You have been major part of the societies, the Indian societies. How has that impacted your life, and how has that like evolved you as a person, like professionally and personally as well? And what do you think? Do they play like a big part in your lives?
I think it was a game changer for me when I started my whole experience in UK, London, and Westminster.
Yeah.
So aside with being a part of the Indian society in Westminster, so before that, there are clubs and societies. To your audience, that there are clubs and societies, different cultural societies, academic societies, or fun societies, and you've got sports and clubs, which are all free in this university. And you can join a number of societies and sports club here.
Yeah.
And when I came, I joined the first was called Indian Society. So I was the campus officer for the whole Indian Society, and my job was to create events, gather people around, and organize events and do networking sessions. And that's how I built and got most of my friends in London. I think they're like a small family to me now. They are the only one in case of emergencies as well. So that is how I got my first friends, and they're still there. And so moving on to that, from Indian Society, I got into student elections, and luckily and fortunately, I was elected. Students showed me that much love; they voted for me, and now I'm serving as the vice president postgrad in the Students' Union. So Students' Union is very different to university. They are separate entity, and our whole service is different to university, though they work together. So we are like critical facts of university, and our main is to represent the students' voices in university forums. So, example, we go to university meetings in terms of academic, which course are working or not, and we tell all the concerns the students are facing, and we try to fast track the process and deliver things which we promised while
more quickly than,
and then we deliver those things. And it's like a local politician who's trying to serving all the students because they elected us. And that is how the Students' Union run, and they've got a number of facilities. So I'll urge to every student who is not just going to Westminster, but if they're coming to UK, do engage with Students' Unions. I didn't do engage that much initially, and I think I didn't reap a lot of benefits that I could have, but then I realized that a bit later. But if you're coming to university, do engage with Students' Union, and it's the first step for you to network in London. And I think London is all about networking. Doesn't matter which course are you studying. So yeah.
You've told me about like how this has changed your life, and this is all about when you've come here and your experiences and everything. How did you do it back then in India? Like, you've decided, okay, let's do it. Let's just apply it. You've come here, you've had your good and bad days, but like, how would you like elaborate what exactly goes behind when you come here, and what support did you find from the university side?
Right.
And I mean, how did it go?
I think the first thing when you come to UK is you have to be prepared whatever city throws at you. I think that's the first thing. If you want to, further your career, if you want to excel yourself, to get more exposure, in those terms, you have to be mentally prepared that these things might come in your way, and how do you handle it? In terms of university giving me support, I think my first support was my personal tutor while I was studying, and all these opportunities are, making networks and getting to know what university is all about, how do I join this, that. So in terms of university, they provide a lot of support to the students in terms, be it any mental health or academic problems, or networking around. You've got career fairs in the university where a lot of companies come from outside. You build a network with them. You see if they're providing.
I mean, that is completely true, because that's how I met him.
Yeah. I mean, we met through Indian Society.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we met at an event, and then that's how we still connected, and that's how I think majority of us are still connected.
Yeah. I've met like most of my friends who are in London, just like you said, that these are the people who are here in Douglas, like emergencies and everything. I have like literally met through them, through the Students' Union and the Indian societies I've been to. So yeah, it is definitely a plus one. I'm absolutely, yeah, 100%. So, okay, not all of you would know that you worked at BBC. Since you've mentioned like you love politics, and the major reason of you coming here was like your major interest, I would say, that was about like parliament and all near something about politics. There was something about that.
So I think, like I said, that it's all about networking in London.
Yeah.
And the word jugaad, I think it works in UK as well. It's now an English word as well. So they have taken that into their consideration. Jugaad is everything. You meet people, and it's a very, very interesting story that I met one of the BBC colleague who came in one of our university events that was done by I think one of the societies in Westminster, and they called a BBC employee, and she was there to speak about her experience and what she does in BBC and everything. And right then at that moment, I was doing my final documentary for my course, and I wanted someone, from a journalistic background to give an interview.
Yeah.
And I saw, and I was like, okay, I'm going in. And I started talking about these things, and she was very sweet. She gave me a chance to be in my documentary, and we had a lovely chat about it. And that's so I slowly and gradually built my connection, and I got my way into. So I worked there for like 3 months there as an internship, and I was doing a research political analyst. So I observed British and Indian politics. So I was here in this. I had a more grip in Indian politics compared to British, but side by side, I was learning about the British politics as well. Learn how the politics and campaign are being done in UK compared to India. And I went knocking on doors like, do you vote for this candidate? And some people are nice, some people are rude, and that is how I learned a lot of things. That is how I enhanced also my communication skills. How do I talk to? And there's also you need to learn and navigate your way. How while I'll talk to you as an Indian, as international, I'll talk differently. Because I talk to a white person, we'll talk differently, and it goes all around. So I learned and navigated that. Oh no, okay, this is working for this person. This is working for this person. I think this is what exposure looks like.
Yeah.
So I had a very interesting journey there and there, and then I became the vice president. So I think that helped me land
like a lot, to get into
from asking votes for anybody else and asking votes for
myself.
I think that's how I learned from the previous, and this is how you ask for, and it fortunately worked out for me in university. So,
I think people are more straightforward here.
Yes, I mean, if they say be at 9 o'clock, you
have
cannot do 9:01. You have to be 8:58 probably.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest. I'm like, what's so what? 2 minutes late, nothing, right? But big deal here. So
I mean, you've told us about the networking and its like good effects and how it like literally changed your life. I mean, working in the embassy is not a small thing, and having your experience and everything. Tell us something which you would advise to someone who's coming to UK, who's thinking to come UK. Apart from networking, what else would you recommend them? And
I think I was just there at the right time at the right place. Probably it just clicked for me. But apart from networking, which is the best thing you could possibly do for anyone without any difficulties. But be prepared. I think it's hard living here. You might see our Instagram stories all lit.
Partying. Yeah.
It is true because you get much more freedom compared back in India because they have to go back at 10 o'clock back home because of parents. But you get much more, and the time zone difference. So while they're asleep, we are partying. So that's a different thing. But apart from the stories, and nobody wants to show their struggle on Instagram. I didn't show my struggles on Instagram. Why would I? So don't just get into sab kar rahe hain to hum bhi kar lenge. And it is comparatively easy in UK. That, for example, if you're earning £1,000 a month, I can say that I can do it, but you have to work for it. Back in India, I won't even say, oh, ye karo, na ye karo. Because it's much more competitive and much more hard, and much more connived to be there in India, and slowly climb the ladder up. But here in UK, you have a lot of opportunities, I would say. But the thing in UK is they're very choosing, they're very precise. So even if they have 10 opening jobs and you're not the right candidate, they won't just take out this.
They would not hesitate to say no.
They won't take you in just desperation. Okay, fine, we have 10 jobs left, so we might as take you. So you have to build your your CV like that. You have to build your working experience, because one more thing, whatever you've done in India doesn't really matter. Doesn't mean how good you were back in India. So you have to build your CV and your experience from scratch in UK. I think be prepared, and always don't, at least for 1 year when you come here to study for masters, and if you're doing undergrad for 3 years, don't sit back and get a bit relaxed. And get the experience of earning money on yourself, being independent, and that is how you learn a lot of things: communication, team building, networking. And if you go out there, and I always made sure that I at least go out there and meet at least 3 people. If I didn't do that, I felt like I'm not being.
You're not being. Exactly.
But I was like mentally prepared that okay,
you have to be
something comes up, I will. So I used to do 3 jobs in a week when I came to London. So that is how I started.
Yeah.
That 2 days here, 2 days here, and 2 days here. So
Wow.
I used to do 3 jobs a day. 2 of them are not paid because you only can work 20 hours.
Experience.
So 2 of them were in my field, and my one job where I was earning was to just pay my bills.
Yeah, to get you bread and butter for. Yeah.
Yes, so that was, but be prepared. I hope nobody has to work 3 jobs a day, but my situation was a bit different. But I think everyone who has been successful in terms of my friend circle, they have been working really hard and they still do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to sacrifice a bit because in India we're a bit more
Relax.
and relax. You've got a lot of comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think you need to step out from that and start working.
I would say that there are some people who are backed by the families all the time.
Yeah.
Like financially, like emotionally and mentally, everybody's backed by the families.
Yeah.
But like there are certain people who are backed by like financially as well, and they will feel like, oh, we have everything over here. What's the need? But I think that doing some work, coming out of your cubicle and doing something which is uncomfortable for you, has helped a lot, at least to me.
I think that, I mean, okay, fine. If you're rich, if you're wealthy, fortunately, financially, lucky enough to sustain yourself, good for you. I think everyone should be. But even if you are, I mean, I've got friends who like, have got a good financial background, but they still just go out there and go just for their own exposure.
Yeah.
And I've seen a massive change when we were friends from a very conservative.
From the beginning.
Person, and they've changed and they've grown themselves so much, the potential they've grown. And I even tell the students who want coming here just for the degree experience, and they will go back. They're certain that they will go back to India and they will start their business, continue the business. Good, that should be.
Yeah.
That's good enough. But at least if you're coming here, get the experience and put it out there back in our country.
Yeah.
Learn these things which are good from here and apply there. And I think it's no harm getting more experience and having more fun. Yeah. And I think the best thing is if you're financially stable, you don't have the pressure to pay your bills then.
Yeah.
And that is why you can have much more fun and much more experience compared to other students who are financially, in pressure that you have to pay bills every single week. So I think it's a much more bonus point for those who are financially stable.
Makes a lot of sense,
I mean, that's from my personal experience, how it goes. Yeah.
On that note, it was lovely talking to you. It was lovely knowing your perspective.
Likewise, Srushti, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I would like you to put forward that thing. The advice wala.
Right.
That I genuinely I insist you because that advice, I've heard from you and it has completely changed the perspective of people, how they think. And I'll let him speak.
So few things that you expect, and my advice would be you get a lot of praise right here. Be prepared of that. But one advice that really helped when I faced myself and I try to overcome it now is please don't convert pounds into rupees. You will not be able to do anything. You won't even take a bus. Initially, I was not even taking bus, so I'll take the bus on there.
But yeah,
but
next stop,
next stop,
it
will take some time when you come here. But once you start, earning your own money, once you get adapted to this culture and country, I think it'll be easier. But you will live more peacefully if you stop. I think that's
stop
the best
converting.
thing. Yeah, it's want to live peacefully in this country. Yes.
That's right. That was quick, informational, motivational, I would say, for people who are coming here and were thinking to be like one of us, to set their goals and set their perspectives in this country. I'm sure that this video would help you look in a different way than you look ourselves on a social media or any other platforms. And yeah, that's a wrap on our video.
Thank you so much. It was really fun. Hope I'm gonna be invited in the next video.
Yeah, but it has
about some politics, yes.
Yeah, it has to be like a spicy. This was very safe.
Yeah, let's do some drama.
Yeah, let's do some drama.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Yeah.
Don't forget to
like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please. Srushti is doing some amazing work. I think one of your videos was also promoted by the University of Westminster, right?
Yes, it was.
I think she's doing a good job and ask her questions, and she's trying to tell you guys things that we didn't know. and we face challenges. So I think the whole motive of this podcast was that you don't face challenges, what we did. So I think do support her, and hopefully you'll grow more. And next time when you're famous, I'm in your podcast.
Hopefully.
Yes.
We're just writing it down,
Absolutely.
manifesting it.
Manifesting.
Bye.